Video done. This will be the first of many, as I'm kind of an emotional guy. So if I'm feeling a certain kind of way, I'll share it, see if anybody else has experienced the same things. The one thing I wanted to talk about, though, was the word no. We cannot ever let no's slow down our business. In some cases, we have to get through the no's to get to the next yes. That's obvious. Also, you have to understand the fact that no sometimes means not now. Sometimes it means that they maybe just had a bad experience with another agent. So we have to really get to the root of that no. One of the things I wanted to talk about, because I just experienced it in the field, I had a conversation the other day with some agents that were talking, and they asked what I do when I get leads that have all sorts of handwritten messages on them. Don't call, don't come here, I don't like solicitors, whatever the case may be. It's all a mindset. You've got to change your thought processes if you're someone that lets that slow you down at all. Reason I bring it up, I had the conversation yesterday, but then again this morning, I was talking with an agent that I'm actually partners with, and this agent had gotten some leads and right away told me, 4 out of my 20 leads have notes written on them, not to come, not to call. And I said, well, how's that make you feel? And she said, well, pretty crappy, because, I can't go there now. I said, what are you talking about? You can't go there now. Those are the first places I go. So here's something to understand. First of all, when those notes are written on there, that means that they've obviously been through this process before, right? How would they know that somebody comes to their house if they didn't already submit a request at some point? The other thing is that, a lot of people are kind of telephone tough guys. In most cases, when you get to the door of these individuals who write notes on the lead sheets, they're typically the nicest and most welcoming people. So you can only control you, right? So first thing I always try to do is find out why the individual wrote that on there. So just to give you an idea, and when they do write it, I never call. They just gave me all the reasons I need to go to their door. So this person in particular made a point to write absolutely no calls, and absolutely is underlined a whole bunch of times, or door visits. Only written information, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. And as if that weren't enough, she then again wrote at the bottom, no calls or visits to address. You can see that Mary was very adamant. She didn't want anybody going to her door. Well, Mary got me at her door about 2 hours ago. About 45 minutes ago, Mary also kicked up her checking account information for a $73 good-to-go payment on a $10,000 policy. So when I was at the door and, Mary answered, first I verified it was her. I told her why I was there. And she looked right at me and said, I said I didn't want to come here. And I said, I showed her the lead piece and I said, yeah, Mary, I see that. You really didn't want anybody to come here. So obviously you've been through this before. So what happened that you put all that on there? And she said, well, the agent came by and I wasn't expecting him and he made me feel really uncomfortable. He was very pushy, blah, 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 blah. What she said is completely irrelevant. All that I heard was that Mary had a bad experience. I need to make sure that Mary likes me, and Mary really, really needs what we have. Otherwise, oftentimes when we have a bad experience, be it at a restaurant or any type of service industry, when we have a bad experience, we typically don't go back. Now, the fact that Mary essentially did go back, she did get another direct mail piece. This time she made a very, very dire effort to only want something mailed to her. So once I was able to break that ice with her, I told her, I said, I assure you, I'm not going to make you feel uncomfortable. I said, it's nice outside. We can sit out here if you like, and she looked at me and took a deep breath and said, No, we can talk inside. And we went in, and after that, I had fun with it, at that point. And then when I finally got down to business, I asked her, I said, okay, Mary, bad experience aside, why did you reach back out to us? Was this for you or for someone else? And she said, no, it was for me. That I did feel very uncomfortable last time, and I really wasn't ready to do anything. But a lady in her card club that she has, recently passed away. And this lady in particular, she did have coverage. And so then it got to, I said, okay, Mary, well, tell me what kind of coverage you have in place, knowing full well what she was going to say. And she looked right at me and said, nothing. I just want a cremation. I said, okay, we'll get to all of that stuff. And then I went through, the typical conversation that I have as a presentation, and we looked up, we went through some different resources and looked up cremation costs. I explained the different types of cremations that were available. She is 73 years old. She didn't know she could do a cremation and a viewing, so she wants to go that route. And, I told her with that, she could absolutely at no point be under $10,000 in coverage. We looked at budget and everything else, and it was too expensive. You know how it goes, back and forth, whatever. The point that I'm saying is that we cannot let what's written on a lead piece dictate who we go help and who we don't go help. The two biggest things that sell are likability and trust. I was very comforting. I talked, you have to adjust your tone and your body language and everything to the person in front of you. Mary was a sweet little lady, probably barely 5 feet tall and 90 pounds. So I needed to talk to her in almost kind of like a baby voice. Almost like I was trying to rock her to sleep. That's kind of creepy, but anyway, you know what I mean? But I did make her feel comfortable about opening up the door. When you sense that with somebody, you've got to keep distance between yourself and the person. Make sure you're stepping back from the door. All of these little things are what makes the difference between whether or not you get into a house or not. You may not realize it, but it's probably the biggest determining factor. Not so much what you say, but how you look when that door opens up. You have about 5 seconds tops to make your first impression. Their decision as to whether or not they're going to let you in is probably made, again, within the first 5 to 10 seconds. So it's not always about getting right down to business. I had fun with what Mary wrote on here. When she was signing her secure application, I said, now I need you to use a signature, not all big heavy capital letters like you did on this letter to me. We had fun with it. So that's the thing. So please, you're investing in these leads. These leads are what get you to the door. So again, I get very excited anytime somebody handwrites anything on a lead sheet. As far as when she said, why didn't you just mail something? We can get into other videos on rebuttals when people say that. But guys, please do yourself a favor. Do your business a favor. Don't discount a lead. And by discount, I don't mean cheaper. By discount, I mean not go to a lead because they wrote on, I keep looking over at it because it just makes me laugh. I could totally see her, sitting at her kitchen table just scribbling this on the lead sheet. Don't come here, no phone calls. No phone calls? Oh man, I wish everybody would write no phone calls because you just gave me a reason to be at your front door. I play a game with those. When I have the notes written on there that say no visitors, don't come to my house, those are the first places I go. I try to challenge myself because the thing is, the reason generally, again, that happens is because someone went to their door and they didn't like it. Go in with the mindset of, well, she hasn't seen me yet. That's kind of the approach you have to take to it. It's all about confidence, but don't base your decision on whether or not you're going to go see somebody or call somebody on what they wrote on that lead sheet. So I just wanted to get that off because, again, I think a lot of people do that, and you're really, really doing your business a disservice and selling yourself short. If anybody has a bunch of leads like that they didn't go visit, please forward them to me. You can send me a private message. I'll give you my email. You can just send them right over. I'll gladly go visit all those customers that said don't come to my house. You're better than that. All right, so remember that. You're better than that, and they ain't seen you yet. So hope that helps. Give me feedback if there's anything else you want to hear about. But again, you got to have fun with this thing, and that's one way to have fun. If they do say, what are you doing here? Can you not read, or come at you with anything like that? Say, ma'am, yeah, I can read. I also know that when this card comes in, I have to see you, okay? Please understand that I have to report to my boss, use that card, that sort of thing. So for the record, I'm here. I'm giving you the information you requested. Hand it to her. Have a nice day. For the rare people that are emphatic, they don't want to see you, they sort of get rude or whatever, again, just say, hey, because this came in, I have a file that's opened, and I got to get these files closed out or I lose my job. So here's the information you requested. My card's in there. You have any questions, call me. And it's on to the next. You can't take it with you. It's part of the business. So all right, hope that helps. Again, send any feedback that you might have, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.